Cleopatra, the last queen of Egypt. But history records several royal women with that name, and when the name Cleopatra appeared in a royal family, something often followed. A shift in power, sometimes an alliance, sometimes a death. This is the pattern behind the name. Welcome back to Empires of Antiquity. Her name was Cleopatra Thea. She lived within the Seleucid Empire, one of the powerful kingdoms that dominated the Eastern Mediterranean. She became queen through marriage to Seleucid kings, and later ruled beside her own sons. Inside that dynasty, power rarely stayed still. Kings disappeared, alliances shifted, and even family could become a rival. Yet through all of it, she remained. Years passed, kings rose, kings fell, but she did not. There is a record of a young king, her son, who attempted to rule without her. He did not rule for long. Ancient historians say Cleopatra ordered his execution. From that moment on, few in the court doubted where power truly rested. In royal politics, power inside the family could be more dangerous than enemies outside it. Years later, another son took the throne, older, more cautious, and somewhere inside the palace, a cup was prepared, poison for him, but this time the cup was handed back to her. Cleopatra drank it herself. The throne survived, she did not. When Alexander the Great died, his empire stretched from Greece to India. But empires built by one man rarely stay whole. His generals divided it into rival kingdoms. Yet there was one thing none of them could divide. Alexander had a sister. Her name was Cleopatra. In Macedon, bloodline mattered a great deal, because if the right general married her, he would gain something armies alone could not provide: legitimacy, a claim to Alexander's legacy, which meant Cleopatra herself became dangerous, not as a ruler, but as a possibility. So she was watched, moved, promised protection, until protection was no longer convenient. She was killed, not for rebellion, not for ambition, but for what she might have made someone else become. Herod the Great ruled Judea under Roman authority. His court was famous for suspicion. Wives were accused, sons were executed. In that palace, attention itself could be dangerous. One of those wives was Cleopatra of Jerusalem. History remembers her only in fragments: a name, a lineage, and a son. Other wives fell from favor. Other sons were condemned, but hers survived. When Herod died, and Rome divided the kingdom, her son was still standing, in a court known for blood and betrayal. Cleopatra of Jerusalem remained almost invisible. Sometimes survival isn't loud, sometimes it looks like silence. The Eastern Mediterranean was unstable. Kingdoms rose and fell quickly. Cities changed loyalty overnight. Cleopatra Selene was born into the Ptolemaic royal family of Egypt, but her life unfolded far beyond it. In the shifting struggles of the Hellenistic kingdoms, she married more than once, each husband a claimant to power, each marriage a political move. When one ruler fell, she did not fall with him. She aligned with the next, not with armies, but with position. While kings fought for thrones, she kept placing herself beside them. She adjusted, she endured. In unstable times, adaptability becomes a kind of power, and Cleopatra Selene used it better than most. Her father was Mithridates of Pontus, one of Rome's most relentless enemies. She married Tigranes, king of Armenia. With that marriage, two powerful kingdoms became allies. She did not command armies, but she connected thrones, Pontus, Armenia, and the fragile balance of power along Rome's expanding frontier. For a time, the alliance held, until Rome did what Rome often did. It pushed outward, the alliance collapsed, the kingdoms fractured. History remembered the kings, but alliances like that rarely happened by accident, and queens like Cleopatra were often the reason they existed at all. Across Syria, across Macedon, across Judea, across Pontus. The same name keeps appearing. Cleopatra, different kingdoms, different dynasties, but almost always close to power, close to a throne, close to decisions that could change a kingdom, which may not be coincidence. Because in royal politics, names were rarely just names. They carried lineage, memory, expectation, and sometimes danger. Long before Egypt's most famous queen made the name legendary, the pattern was already there: power, proximity, consequence.